Chapter 42, Decision-Making 101. 99% of failures come from people who have the habit of making excuses. A landscape gardener ran a business that had been in the family for 2 or 3 generations. The staff were happy, and customers loved to visit the store or to have the staff work on their gardens or make deliveries, anything from bedding plants to ride-on mowers. For as long as anyone could remember, the current owner and previous generations of owners were extremely positive, happy people. Most folk assumed it was because they ran a successful business. In fact, it was the other way around. A tradition in the business was that the owner always wore a big lapel badge saying, "Business is great." The business was indeed generally great, although it went through tough times like any other. What never changed, however, was the owner's attitude, and the badge saying, "Business is great." Everyone who saw the badge for the first time invariably asked, "What's so great about business?" Sometimes people would also comment that their own business was miserable, or even that they personally were miserable or stressed. Anyhow, the "business is great" badge always tended to start a conversation, which typically involved the owner talking about lots of positive aspects of business and work. For example, the pleasure of meeting and talking with different people every day, the reward that comes from helping staff take on new challenges and experiences, the fun and laughter in a relaxed and healthy work environment, the fascination in the work itself and in the other people's works and businesses, the great feeling when you finish a job and do it to the best of your capabilities, the new things you learn every day, even without looking to do so, and the thought that everyone in business is blessed because there are many millions of people who would swap their own situation to have the same opportunities of doing a productive, meaningful job in a civilized, well-fed country where we have no real worries. And so the list went on. And no matter how miserable a person was, they'd usually end up feeling a lot happier after just a couple of minutes listening to all this infectious enthusiasm and positivity. It is impossible to quantify or measure attitude like this, but to one extent or another, it's probably a self-fulfilling prophecy. On which point, if asked about the badge in a quiet moment, the business owner would confide, "The badge came first. The great business followed." People begin to become successful the minute they decide to be. When the decision was made that business is great, badge should be a culture, greatness was set in motion. Shallow men believe in luck and circumstances, but strong men believe in cause and effect. The quality of your life today is a product of all the choices and decisions you have made before now, and the quality of your life tomorrow will be determined by the quality of choices and decisions you make now. Yesterday's decision is today's reality. Today's decision is tomorrow's reality. You can determine and create your future by the choices and decisions you make today. Since your decisions eventually determine your destiny, it is very vital and wise to know how to make the right decisions in every area of life, and that is why I have included it in this module. You cannot succeed without having to make decisions. You cannot make, manage, or multiply money without making decisions. You cannot become an entrepreneur or start a business without making decisions. You cannot create wealth without making decisions. You cannot make impact and be significant without making decisions. You cannot be successful in life without making decisions. We all make decisions daily. Decision of whether to wake up or keep sleeping. Decision of what and when to eat. Decision of whether to bath or not. Decision of what to wear or put on. Decision of where, when, and how to spend the day, etc. Some decisions are easy to make because they have no major negative consequences if they are wrong. However, some decisions are major and hence require sensitivity, maturity, and care, because the consequence of making a mistake in them is huge and can affect our destiny. For example, where to work, where to live, who to marry, which course to study, where to worship, how to respond to things, what to accept or reject, etc. We are all servants of our choices and decisions once they are made, and we have to submit to the consequences and results of our decisions, whether positive or negative. Indecision is also a decision. Not deciding is a decision. Not deciding on time is a decision, and they all have consequences. Factors that affect our decision-making. There are many factors that have the ability to influence and affect our decision-making in life, but due to space constraint, let me deal with just few of them. 1. Your level of maturity. Maturity does not come with age, but it comes with the ability to handle responsibility and choose good above evil at all times. When you are matured, you make better decisions because you don't allow emotions and sentiment to cloud your sense of judgment. 2. Your level of exposure. A primitive and myopic person cannot make the same quality of decision that an exposed person will make. Your level of exposure educates and stimulates your thinking, and it broadens your view and perception, which invariably has a great effect on your decision-making ability and the quality of your decisions. 3. Your level of experience. We are all products of our past experiences, both positive and negative, and these experiences have a great influence on our decision-making in life. People who have had very negative experiences in life and are yet to be free from the pains, hurts, betrayals, and experiences of the past tend to be very pessimistic and negative about life. They will mostly see the negatives before they see the positive, if at all they do. 4. Your mentality and mindset. We have examined different evil philosophies earlier in this module, and if you hold on to any of such mindset, it will affect your decision-making. A man that believes whatever will be will have no motivation to make any meaningful decision to make it because of his mindset. If you have a poverty mentality, it will mirror and show in your decision-making. If you have a materialism mentality, it will show in your decision-making. Your mindset matters a lot. 5. Your upbringing and background. Charity begins at home has become a popular saying globally and only goes to show the effect of your background and upbringing on you. If you grow up in a home filled with love, care, nurture, mentoring, teaching, protection, etc., it will show up in your decision-making. And if you grow up in a dysfunctional family filled with abuse of all kinds and was raised to feel inferior, devalued, useless, etc., it will affect your decision-making. 6. The environment. The environment we grow up in is one. The environment we presently live and function in is another. A lot of people have become victims of their environment, and they are trapped to think like they think, do like they do, and become like the environment due to the constant influence of the environment, both positive and negative. I remember moving into an estate years ago before I built my own house, and the environment quickly began to influence my decisions positively because the level of comfort and class in the neighbors and neighborhood made me realize I have a long way to go, and I had to buckle up. 7. Your association. Show me your friends, and I will show you the kind of person you are, because birds of the same feather flock together. If you associate with positive people, it will rub off on you and affect your decisions. If you associate with negative people, it will also rub off on you and affect your decisions. Who are your friends? Who influences you? Don't be deceived to think you can associate with negative people consistently and not be consciously or unconsciously influenced over time. 8. Your counselors or advisors. Every wise person should have mentors, counselors, and advisors in their network that they consult before making decisions that affect different areas of their lives. A man that asks questions never gets lost, greatly depends on the person he asked. If you ask a man who is equally lost and he wants to feign knowledge, he will direct you wrongly. The quality of your counselors and advisors, therefore, determine the quality of counsels or advice they will give you, because they cannot give what they don't have. 9. Your mood and state per time. If you study people closely and you really come to understand them, you will know the timing and the way to approach them when you need them to do something. Your moods and the state of your heart, your emotion and psychological frame of mind all affects the decision you make. Mood swings can become decision swings. Temper tantrums can become decision tantrums. Physical sickness can become decision sickness. Be your best before you make decisions at all times. 10. Your level of education and knowledge of the area. One other factor that will affect the level and quality of decisions you make is how knowledgeable you are about the area you need to make a decision about, and also your level of education will be a major influence on your decision. An illiterate cannot make the same kind of or quality of decision like an educated person will. Increasing your level of education and becoming knowledgeable about different areas of life will be a great asset and leverage for you in life and in decision-making. Decision-making strategies. When faced with a problem or a challenge, you need to be very wise and strategic about the decisions you make on how to solve such problem. The difference between failure and success is doing a thing nearly right and a thing exactly right. I nearly made it. I nearly got it. I nearly finished it. Nearly is not complete, so it is vital to make right decisions at all times and not nearly make a right decision. This is important because every great leap forward you make in life comes only after you have made a clear decision of some kind. Define the problem. If you have to make a decision, the first strategic step is to define the problem by deciding the exact decision that has to be made. Analyze the problem. Now that you know what you have to decide about, the next step is, do you have a decision? How vital will the decision be? Etc. Do your analysis. Develop different alternative decisions. The next step is to come up with different alternative decisions that can be made, because in some cases you have only two options, and in others you have diverse options. Evaluate the different options. Take time to think over the different options to know the advantages and disadvantages of each option. This evaluation will help you know which direction to tend towards for your conclusion. Think deeply on the option. After evaluation, this is the time to pray about it if you do believe in prayer. If you don't, spend time in deep meditation and reflective thinking to decide which option to choose. Decisions should never be taken lightly. The stages should each be followed. Choose the option you feel more comfortable or have peace with. If you go through step 5 by taking it to God in prayer, then whatever you have peace with or are led to do is what you should do. And if you decide to do meditation and reflective thinking, then choose whatever option you are comfortable with. Take effective action. Once a decision is arrived at using this strategy, then take action and face the consequences. In life, you have to go through a process, and if you make decisions and things go wrong, just learn from it and move on. Not making a decision is a decision. Wrong decision is a decision. Right decision is a decision. You may start out being undecided or making wrong decisions often, but with time, experience, maturity, and learning, you come to a level where you hardly make wrong decisions. 15 Laws of Decision Making. Never make a decision under pressure or when you are weak, physically, emotionally, mentally, etc. Never make a decision in a haste without deep thinking. Never make a decision based on inadequate information. Never make a decision without wise counsel. Never make a decision without divine approval. Never make a permanent decision based on temporary issues. Never make a decision based on emotions and sentiments. Never make a decision to insist on doing something that others can help you do. Never make a decision without considering all options and the consequences of the decision. Never make a decision to go to war or a battle where there are no spoils. Don't fight if there is nothing to win, and be sure the result is worth the effort before you do. Never make a decision without calculating the risks involved, because you should not allow your expectation exceed the practical potential and realities of your resources. Never make a decision that ends up as a waste of time. If the return is not greater than the investment, then the endeavor is not worth your time. Never refuse to make a decision you need to make when you need to make it, because delay can be dangerous. Never be indecisive because you are afraid of making a wrong decision. Life is a school, and you learn through mistakes sometimes. Never make a decision without 100% commitment to stand by your decision and its consequence. Allow yourself a 10% ratio to be wrong, a 50% likelihood of betrayal, a 100% commitment to survive it all. If you can really develop yourself to get it right in the decision-making aspect of your life, majority of your lifetime is already settled. I have seen people make millions because of their decisions. I have seen people lose millions because of their decisions. And I have my own story to tell too, both positive and negative. It is my belief that everything I have included in this book and in every module is worth the sacrifice, and I really do hope it helps you and you become a success story.